So this is day number 5. I have no fancy edits. I'm just gonna keep it simple with a story. This YouTube channel had its inception in 2017. I was basically a full-time teacher in Brooklyn. I was a full-time student at Columbia University, and I was living in New York at the time. That journey, I should have recorded everything. From the time that I got to New York, how I dealt and battled with depression, how I was sleeping on my cousin's floor with this idea that I was going to achieve so much at Columbia, which I didn't. But New York taught me so much. After I moved to Harlem, that's where I really started making New York my home. Anyway, fast forward, I got hit by a taxi. My right tibia was shattered. I spent a whole entire year and a half recovering. But I'll never forget, it was a day in May, spring. Like when spring hits in New York, you feel it. Like the trees are blossoming, the butterflies are out, like you feel spring. My window was open. I was in my planning period. I had 2 planning periods, and it was the best time because I only taught 1 class. So anyway, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about my life, I'm thinking about what I have to do, and it just hit me that once the school year is over, I am leaving New York City. And in that moment, all of these ideas started rushing in my head that I wanted to tell a story about my accident, my experience in New York. But that was extremely difficult because I didn't have any idea of how to do that. And for some reason or another, something told me buy a camera, this camera. And I started that journey. I started basically talking about my life. I labeled the series like Second Chances or Second Chance or whatever it was. And for a while, it was going, right? And then somebody's opinion that I trusted basically deterred me. The opinion was that the videos were way too long, and I was talking upwards to like 13 to 15 minutes, telling a story about all of this stuff that happened to me, how I was motivated to do better. And that small comment stopped me. And often we trust the wrong people with our ideas. Often we think that we're doing something, and progressively we're excited to share it with people that we trust. But that moment really taught me a lot. That if you feel something that is inspiring you, that is motivating you, that is moving you, do it. Do it with the conviction that you're never going to stop. But back to the story. 2017, I'll never forget, it was like the 2nd or 3rd week of June. The principal, I had a meeting with her like Monday morning, and she basically asked me, hey, are you coming back next year? And I said yes. We had a very professional discussion about, the accident taking me out, because I was out of teaching for like a month and some change. I came back like the 1st week of March. So this conversation went on great. I was excited. I'm thinking to myself, next year is going to be great. And then I think that meeting happened like on a Monday or a Tuesday, Thursday, while I was riding the 3 train from Harlem all the way to Brooklyn. Something just hit me. I used to live on 130th Street. I got on the train on 125th Street, Martin Luther King, right? Central Park is 110th, if I'm not mistaken here. So by the time the train got to Central Park, something told me, take your laptop out. I wrote a letter of resignation on the train. I emailed it to her secretary, and I asked her, print it out by the time I get there. And with that conviction, I left teaching. I told myself that no matter what, I'm never going back to teaching. And 2017 was a great year for me because I had enough money to think for once. I had enough money to really feel free, to really do what I needed to do. I was traveling a lot. I was writing a lot, basically in a notebook, and I was penning these ideas of how I wanted my life to be. What ended up happening is that I reached a point where I stopped executing, where I started caring about opinions, where I forgot what I was truly after, which was my freedom. For the first time in my life, I honestly felt like I was doing the right thing. And I felt this conviction that things were going to work themselves out. And it was at that moment where you know that life is what you make it. You know that the things that you want to do, the things that you want to achieve, require a level of commitment unparalleled to your current life. Your motivation doesn't matter here. Inspiration doesn't matter. Waking up the next day to some work, meaning some progressive work, right? If you're building a house, you're progressively working until you finish that house. So I feel that life at that moment was this progressive idea of doing better and being better. And I reached a point, man, where I started like really thinking about why I left teaching, what it meant for me to like survive New York. Like I really made it. I left to New York without a plan. You don't do that. And things ended up working themselves out. When I got the letter of acceptance for Columbia, I'll never forget. The first question that popped in my head was, where am I going to live? And when I came to New York, I had no idea what I was doing. But I told myself, I'm going to figure it out. Life always works itself out, and it does. To let you know, I applied to so many teaching jobs. And I'll never forget the fact that I was 1 week out from school starting, and I got a call, I think on a Thursday or Friday. Thursday, because I had to go the very next day to meet the principal. I got a call from the principal at Parkside Preparatory Academy. I'll never forget. She called me. She's like, hey, I saw your resume. You qualify for this position. It's a full-time position. Can you come today? It was like the middle of the day. I'm like, no, because I'm not prepared. You know, I got to get my suit, whatever. I just told her, I'm not prepared. Is there any possibility that we can meet tomorrow? And I landed the job. I had a great interview. I landed the job. And right when I'm like, you know what? If I don't make it here, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I was I was stuck. And it worked out. And even now, I feel that that's how life is. When you obsess over something, it always works itself out. I know that a lot of people hate the conversation about money because some people, or most people, they're money driven. I'm not. My philosophy about money is very atypical. And for a lot of people that see life with dollar figures, it's a turnoff, right? But I just told myself that no matter what, even at the stage of my life, that life is going to work itself out. There are so many things and avenues. And even with these videos, I'm finding that being great at explaining very complicated things is a skill set that I want to develop, right? Storytelling is a skill set that I want to develop. And you have to practice these things. They're not going to happen overnight. You're not going to be perfect. I'm not worried about views. I'm not worried about subscriber counts. Because again, if you look at my views, they're minimal. They're not big. They're not extravagant, right? If you look at my subscriber count, it's normal. It's not a huge amount of people. But I still look at it as like, yeah, that's a lot of people. If you line them up and those people gave you $100, that's a lot of money. So for me, I'm looking at it as I have to get better at all of this. I have to get better at sharing all of the experiences that have made me who I am. And right now, I'm a stoic. I know that for a fact. Because there's a point where you understand who you are. There's a point where you understand that you know where you're going. You know the direction that you want to go in. and you're going to have a lot of barriers getting in the way. Being tired is one of them. No matter what you do, how you do it, you have a whole bunch of different things that you have to get done. If you're a parent, sick, tired, angry, upset, depressed, whatever, you have to be a great parent. Your kids don't care about you being tired. They don't care about you being hungry. They don't care if you're sick. Even though they do know, but you know what I mean. And it's the same thing with life. If your job demands that you're on time all the time, and you know you don't want to get fired because you have bills to pay, you're committed, you're dedicated, you're being consistent. And I've reached that point, man, where I'm like, a lot of these drivers that we have, they're there, right? If you know you're gonna make $100 doing something, you're gonna execute. If you know that every 2 weeks you're gonna get a paycheck, you know you're gonna go to work because you have bills to pay. So here, showing up when things are not glamorous, when things are not celebrated. I am making videos in my room. Who knows? Who cares? The world doesn't care about me. I'm not famous. I'm a nobody. But again, something told me, just make videos. Share whatever it is that you're going through. Share your experiences because it's relatable. I am telling you, if I would have shared my story when I was in New York, how I got to New York, how I lived in New York, how I survived New York, how I dealt with this accident, how I went through graduate school, how I taught, how I left New York, I would have been at 2 or 3 million subscribers by now. But again, that was my fault because it was an experience that a lot of people would have benefited from. And you deal with so many things, you find out so many things. And even now, just posting videos, I've never thought that I'll be talking to people from another country. I never would have imagined that you would have told me, hey, you post a video, people in 80 something plus countries are going to be able to view your videos. And looking at the analytics, it is crazy. Even if people swipe away, doesn't matter. The video got viewed. And you just tell yourself, like, how can I work to capture that person's attention, right? And even now, that's motivating me because if I'm telling you a good story, if I'm telling you something that's relatable, we have a community. And I just want to share as much as possible. I just want to be relentless in what I'm doing. I want to get better. I want to get educated in what I am doing. Because if you don't do it, you're going to live a life of frustration. And that's where I'm at. That New York City story has always been in the back of my head. That series that I started and I raced off of this YouTube channel has always been in the back of my head. Even the stuff that I've done on Facebook has always been in the back of my head. And for me, I am going to work twice as hard every single day to get better, to tell a better story. I'm not waiting on all of these techniques. I don't research how to get more subscribers. I don't research how to go viral. I don't research any of those techniques because, again, I am trying to model something that's different. I'm trying to figure something out, practice it, get better. Uploading, basically sitting in front of a camera, editing, all of that, or all of those are different skill sets that I, as a person, have to develop. I have to get better. But that better means that I have to tell a better story. I have to show you that, again, we're all dealing with the same things. We're all chasing the same things. There's not a person that you don't talk to where they don't tell you about their dreams. They don't tell you what they want to do for their kids. They don't tell you how much they hate this job, but they know that they have to do it in order to get to whatever. And those stories never change. You see people in your family, your friends that just settle, that are complacent, that just gave up. Every single kid has a dream. Every single adult has a dream. But the difference between kids and adults is that adults, they succumb to society. They get lazy. They look at problems. They dwell on their problems. They dive deep into their problems, and they never escape that mindset. Life is constantly telling you, here's a problem, solve it. Even if you had everything right now that you wanted, you're always going to wake up to a problem. But you have to find it within you, and that's what I'm doing, finding all of these solutions by making videos. I don't know. I'm excited because, again, I think I have like 724 or 25, I can't remember the number, subscribers. But in a year's time, where is it going to be? I remember 2 years ago when I relaunched this channel, I was at less than 150. But I told myself I'm going to post videos. Something told me just keep posting videos or start posting videos. And I've done that for the last 2 years. So my mind is very clear. I don't have to do these fancy edits that everybody else does. I don't have to try to emulate somebody else's style. I have to just be very compelling in the story that I'm telling and develop those techniques. And I'm excited about that. It is the 5th day of this 170-day challenge to just post videos. And I'm posting those short reels or whatever, those short videos every single day. I'm excited. Anyway, tomorrow is day 6. I'm going running. I have a full day. I have to wash my car. I gotta cut Bruno's hair. Bruno is our dog. I have to visit my mom. I have to do some shopping. I have to buy some clothes. I wear the same clothes. I've been wearing the same clothes since 2017. The same 9 or 8 H&M shirts. I gotta get some jeans. I gotta go to the mall. I hate the mall. I have social anxiety as soon as I get to the mall. So anyway, these things are real. This is what I want to just tell, like a real story. So tomorrow and Sunday, they're going to be extensive days for me. I got to clean this room up. I got to take this bookshelf out of here, like donate it, take it apart, donate it. I'm decluttering and getting rid of everything. I'm donating as many clothes as possible, shoes, everything. Everything has to go. I'm reducing everything to its bare minimum, so that way I can feel better about what I am doing. So yeah, that's day 6, 7, and we're gonna keep going. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't have an expectation of anything happen. I don't even think I'm ever gonna hit 1,000 subscribers, but I just want to tell a very compelling story about being just average, being us. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not famous. I don't got a huge following. But if I show up, if I tell people the truth, if I share my experience with life with people, I know somebody's going to connect with what I have to say. It is what it is. But my expectations are here. But I'm holding myself accountable to show up every single day, no matter what. So this is day 5. I'll see you tomorrow.